My name is Tim. I'm a second year at MSIH, and I'm from all over the place. So I was born in Korea. I left when I was 4. My dad got his master's in Scotland, and we moved to Kyrgyzstan when I was 6. Most of my childhood was there, up until 8th grade when I moved to Germany. I started going to a boarding school. From there I went to the States to go to college, and now I'm here. I don't know when I first heard about MSIH, but I remember thinking that this was the perfect school, perfect fit for me. I grew up traveling a lot because my parents were missionaries, and I grew up in a multicultural environment, and I've always had this global outlook in life. And with that, I've always had an interest in international health.
Ultimately, it has been a really interesting experience for me. Israel is it's kind of like the States in the sense that it's a huge melting pot of different people groups. There are Israelis, and then there's also the Ethiopian immigrants, there are the Bedouins, there are the Russian immigrants, and as a medical student in Israel, I get to interact with all these different people groups and learn from them.
Actually, recently a lot of people have been asking me, what's international medicine? Isn't medicine all the same? Medicine, I think, has multiple aspects to it. I mean, there is the scientific aspect of treating patients, treating diseases. There's also the cultural aspect, the kinds of diseases that you see because of the different patient population and environment. I think a lot of it is just being able to relate to patients in a culturally sensitive way. So, Hebrew is a difficult language. It's not easy. But it's important for us as medical students to learn the language, because next year, come next year, we're going to have to be able to communicate with patients and to kind of understand what's going on, understand the nuances of our wards. Ideally, we are able to communicate and understand fairly well. And it's a struggle because, we have our medical studies, we have to study for our boards, and trying to learn a new language on top of that isn't easy. I'm really determined to learn Hebrew, and I know this is going to come in handy next year. I'm fortunate in the sense that I've been able to go out. I also volunteer for an organization called Ultimate Peace. Ultimate Peace is a non-profit organization that brings Arab, Jewish, and Palestinian kids together to build peace in the Middle East. And there I would get more exposure to Hebrew and some Arabic. It's a great organization, and I have so much fun with the kids. I also play Ultimate for the Israeli national team, which is super fun, and we are going to Amsterdam in June to win Rwanda, which is, I believe, Europe's largest grass tournament.
When you go outside the classroom to learn a language, you're not just expanding your vocabulary. You get to understand the culture better, you get to understand the people better. You're experiencing the culture from a local's perspective in a more profound way.
Well, Israel is a pretty crazy country. It's definitely an interesting time to be living in the Middle East. I enjoy it. I don't necessarily have a traditional sense of home because of my upbringing, so I made Israel my home fairly quickly. My favorite Hebrew phrase is Hakol Dvash. My emergency TA taught me this, and it literally means everything is honey. Israel isn't, very well known for its culinary masterpieces, but it is very good at making hummus, and they have some awesome shawarma and falafel. There's actually a falafel stand just around the corner that I frequent, especially during exam time, because one, it's cheap, and I don't have to make it, and it's delicious.
Living here has been exciting. It's been challenging. And like any new experience, you take the good with the bad. But I've really learned a lot, and not just academically, but about life and myself in general. And I'm glad I'm here.